This is an enormously significant jailbreak. What we know is that the 6 men weren't present at a 4 a.m. Head count, and they discovered the opening of this tunnel.
6 Palestinian prisoners recently escaped from Israel's most highly secured, maximum security prison. Assalamu alaikum, what's going on everybody? Despite all the advanced security and military technology, the Palestinian prisoners were able to defeat all these odds. They dug a tunnel and they escaped. All of this with a spoon. Yes, Palestinians defeated the Israeli military technology, the occupation, with a kitchen utensil. The only thing that would have made this even more impressive is if they did this whole thing with a fork. In any case, this was a major embarrassment for Israel. However, unfortunately, news recently came out that 2 of the Palestinian prisoners were re-arrested and 2 more just recently were also found. So 4 out of the 6 Palestinians who were able to escape, they were unfortunately recaptured. Now, Israel's spreading this narrative that the Palestinians that escaped, they were caught begging for food. They were all alone, homeless. They were starving. No one came to their aid. And they're trying to paint this picture that there were these homeless beggars, and as they were asking and begging for help, people recognized them and they reported them. Yeah, no.
It's a lie.
This is what Israel tries to do. They were so embarrassed they got outsmarted by a kitchen utensil that what they're trying to do is they're trying their best to also portray these 6 Palestinian prisoners who were able to escape, these heroes actually, who were able to outsmart and out-strategize the entire Israeli occupation. They're trying to paint this narrative of them being weak and being beggars and having nothing and no support and no help and going door to door, when in reality, even the video footage of 2 of the prisoners being rearrested shows they were clean-shaven, well-groomed, dressed pretty well. It appears as if they've been taken care of. So let me tell you what most likely happened. They were caught because of traitors. Palestinian traitors. Spies on Israel's payroll. Palestinians already know this. This is not news for us. We know that there are numerous Palestinian spies working for Israel. Pretty much throughout history, anytime any resistance leader or someone of high profile is caught or assassinated by Israel, it's because of spies and traitors. Because of a neighbor, a friend, a brother, a son, a traitor, a spy on the Israeli payroll. This is something that's well known by Palestinians. There are other stories saying that there were some Israeli settlers who saw them and reported them. I mean, at this point, it could be a combination of both. However, I have 3 main points to make. Number 1, the Palestinians who have been recaptured, as they make their way back to the maximum security prison, we know that they're going to be subjected to violence and most likely torture. They embarrassed Israel in front of the entire world with a spoon. Israel will most likely do their best to try to make an example out of them, and they will undoubtedly torture them to try to extract information about the whereabouts of the remaining prisoners. This is the time to do both. Pray for their well-being and also share this message and apply international pressure to make sure the world is watching these Palestinian prisoners, to ensure that these Palestinians' rights are not further violated. Number 2, even though so far 4 of the 6 prisoners have been recaptured, and although this is really heartbreaking news, this is still a major victory. This will go down in the history books. 6 Palestinian prisoners held in a maximum security prison with all of the advanced technologies literally embarrassed Israel.
How embarrassing.
And the persona it was trying to portray of being invincible, impenetrable, this nuclear force. And yet, with a spoon, all of these illusions came crumbling down. As heartbreaking as this is still a victory. Number 3, to all the traitors who live amongst the Palestinians, to all the traitors on Israel's payroll, to all of you who spy on their brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, neighbors and friends, you are worse than Zionists. You are worse than an Israeli Zionist, an American Zionist, an Arab Zionist. You are worse than all of them. At the very least, when an Israeli soldier points a gun at a Palestinian's face, at the very least, that Palestinian knows who the enemy is. But when you, a brother, a neighbor, a friend, a spy living amongst them, you sneak up behind him and stab them in the back, just remember, you are the worst kind of enemy. A hypocrite, a traitor. You are someone that nobody respects. Palestinians don't respect you. Your master, Israel, they don't respect you either. Because how can anyone respect a traitor? Someone with no self-respect and no honor. I'll also say this in Arabic just in case some of the traitors aren't bilingual. رسالة لكل خاين. أنت أسوأ من الصهيوني. أنت أسوأ من الصهيوني الإسرائيلي، الصهيوني الأمريكي، الصهيوني العربي. أنت أسوأ نوع من العدو. ليش يا ترى؟ والله سؤال حلو، الحين بحكي لك. على الأقل لما الجندي الصهيوني يحط مسدس قدام واحد فلسطيني، يحطه بوجه واحد فلسطيني، على الأقل الفلسطيني بيعرف وين العدو، بيعرف مين العدو. بس لما تيجي أنت من ورا ظهره أخوه أو صاحبه أو جاره وتطعنه بظهره، في اللحظة هاي أنت أسوأ نوع عدو، منافق وخاين. ولكل الخونة اطمئنوا، ما في حد بيحترمكم، لا الفلسطيني اللي غدرتوه بيحترمكم ولا رئيسك، مديرك، زعيمك، حبيبك اللي بدفع لك معاشك إسرائيل، ولا هم بيحترموك. ما حدا بيحترم شخص ما عنده احترام لنفسه وما عنده شرف. And to all these people, there's a special place in hell for you.
No, he's got a point.
In conclusion, there are many symbols of Palestinian resistance. We have the rock, well, not that rock, that rock. We have watermelons, and now we have a spoon. Anything and everything is a symbol of resistance for Palestinians. That's just what happens when you live a life under occupation, constant oppression, and apartheid. You will use everything at your disposal to gain your freedom.
اهدى، ما هو كل شي باين في المحنة. الله بيشهد مين احنا، رجالة ضمن طرطش لك.